As part of our ongoing series of poetry analysis, here's Uncle Paulie discussing a poem by E. Cummings.
Hey, how you doing? It's Paulie Gintoli, and I'm going to talk about a poem by the poet E. Cummings, and the poem's called L parenthesis A. Okay, but before we get to the poem, we got to talk a little bit about E. Cummings. Okay, so he's this guy, right? And his deal was that pretty much all of his poems only use lowercase letters, right? So he's got no capital letters anywhere, and it's like, EE, what's the deal? You don't got a shift on your keyboard or your typewriter, whatever he's using. Even his name, like when you see his name, it's all lowercase, E.E. Cummings, okay? And if you ask me, I think it's because of low self-esteem, right? Hear me out. First of all, it's probably because there's no good E names for men, right? Forget about it. You know, what do you got? Like Elwood, Edward? All right, Edward's not that bad. But Enos? Who does that? Who names their son Enos? That's the name you give an unwanted child, okay? There's two ways you can go with this. Enos the penis or Enos the anus. It's lose-lose. Apologies if your name is Enos and you're watching this. No offense, but maybe you should have a chat with your parents and go, what's the deal here? Don't you love me? If you haven't heard those joke names before, congratulations, but you should steel yourself because it's coming, right? Kids are gonna find a way to twist whatever your name is into a joke name, right? One time, kids in the 80s, they used to call me Paulie Shore, like that was an insult. It didn't bother me that much. I don't think the guy's that funny, but I've heard worse insults. One guy called me Paula Abdul and punched him in the nuts and didn't hear from him again. So all of this, I think, leads down to low self-esteem. I had this girlfriend one time I met at spring break, and she was always writing letters and notes, but when she would write I, like I'm going to go to the store, she'd use lowercase I, right? And it's like she didn't think she deserved to have an uppercase I. So low self-esteem. Maybe E. Cummings' mom didn't hug him enough. She gave him the E. It's two E's, too. He had a middle name with an E. So, I don't know. But it's all germane, okay, to this poem. L parenthesis A, right? And so when you read the poem, and it's a short one, at first it looks like it's just gibberish because it's just a bunch of letters, on the page. But then you got to decipher it, and you got to say, okay, I'm reading it top to bottom, right? Like it's kanji or something. And when you figure it out, it's the L and then parenthesis, a leaf falls, right? And then the parenthesis closes, and then you've got oneliness, right? Except here's the thing. If you take the parenthesis part out, you got the word loneliness, right? So in the middle of loneliness, you got, in parentheses, a leaf falls. So that's the poem, right? So I think what E.E. is talking about is he's looking at this tree, right? And he sees a leaf fall, and he says, Jesus Christ, I'm lonely. And probably anything was going to set him off, right? Because he's got low self-esteem. He could see a leaf fall off a tree or a bird fall off a tree, whatever it is, falling off the tree, it's going to set him off, right? Because he's got low self-esteem. He's like, I don't deserve a hug from my dad or whoever because I don't know why. Maybe, I'm not saying he was unwanted. That's an example of a reason that you might have low self-esteem or whatever. So that's the thing. It's a poem about loneliness. And, when you think about it, the type of people who write poems, a lot of them have low self-esteem. Let's be honest here. That's what's it. Not that you can't have high self-esteem and write poems. I have high self-esteem, but I don't write poems. I read them. It's fine to read them, okay? It's, it's educational, and there's enjoyment that you can get from reading the poem. But if you're writing poems, I don't know, there's probably something missing in your life, and you're filling it with poetry, right? And so you read this L parenthesis A poem from E. Cummings. It's like the worst crossword puzzle you ever saw, but you can figure it out. It's not that hard. Loneliness and a leaf falling out of a tree, and it triggers you because for whatever. So there you have it. That's L parenthesis A from E.E. Cummings. He had low self-esteem. I mean, if you think about it, why did he have it? Who knows? But if you look at some of his other poems, he has one where he uses the N-word, and he's got another one where he calls Jews the K-word. You can Google that one. And then he was kind of a right-winger who supported McCarthyism. I mean, no wonder he was alone, okay? But that's not going to buck up your self-esteem by hating other people. You're trying to make yourself feel better. But if you look at a tree and a leaf falls out and it sets you off, whatever it is, it's not working, right? So there you go. You're welcome.